Hello. I'm Matt Geyer, and I currently maintain the Black Lives Matter sign outside the church. Thank you. And why? How did I get that job? Well, Reverend TJ was leaving, and our previous minister, and I didn't raise my hand for a lot of the duties that were being doled out, and I got stuck with that one. Yay! But why do I continue to maintain it? And part of the reason goes back to a little bit of my own personal history. When I was kindergarten age, my tree hugger hippie parents, who were serial volunteers, moved us to Tennessee, a very rural, poor part of Tennessee, to work in the Morgan Scott Project, which was helping out with a variety, food, housing, things like that for the people there. And it was really, really poor, like literally dirt poor. Some of these people were living in houses that had no floors. They were just sheds, essentially. Not enough food, not enough education, the works. And so that Morgan Scott Project, which continues today, was helping those people out, and they would organize church groups, missions, to bring in groups of volunteers to help build houses, et cetera, so forth. And at one point, one of the church groups brought in a black volunteer. Now, these counties, Morgan and Scott counties, were at that time 100% white. They had chased out or hung every black person at that point, and extremely racist. The KKK was active there at the time, and they had recently burned down a Catholic church. And so when a black volunteer came in to help out, my father describes it as the world coming to an end. That's what it felt like in those counties at the time. And so my father was one of the leaders or one of the major volunteers or workers in the Morgan Scott Project. So our house, they started off, they cut off our electricity, shot out the wires, they cut our phone lines. And then shortly after, a van in our front yard was burned. A car was sabotaged. And then a cross was burned in our yard. And people started shooting at our house. They called the police, and the police said, there's not much we can do. But the policeman did say, the next step is they're going to burn down your house. So it's like they were so good at running people out of town, they had a whole playbook, right? And the policeman knew, assuming he wasn't complicit, that was the next step. So I guess fast forwarding from that experience to today, maintaining the Black Lives Matter, where, does anyone know how many signs? 22 signs have been torn down. And the last sign that I just replaced a few weeks ago, it was ripped down. Does anybody know how I know it was vandalism and it wasn't the wind? Scissor marks, yeah. Very specific scissor marks.
The word black was cut out of the banner.
The word black was cut out of the banner. So going from that, 30-some years ago to today, obviously something that's still very important. And so I'll leave you with that for now. I just think it connects to one of my favorite sayings right now, which is, the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. So, hello again. Did you have a good discussion with your questions? might have another question for you. This is a question I ask myself every time I'm out there replacing the sign. How long do I have to keep doing this? Do we need to keep the sign up? What's that?
Until it's not damaged.
Until it's not damaged. That's one answer that comes up in my mind. We should keep putting it up until people stop tearing it down. Oh,
Keep putting it up until every church has one up.
that's another good one. Anyone?
Make this part a little louder,
Oh,
louder, please.
you want me to talk close? Talk a little closer. All right. What would the world look like? Can we all imagine a world where we would feel comfortable taking that banner down? Or it would be unnecessary? So the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. If you're not doing anything, then you're okay with the world the way it is. What's anyone quote me our 8th principle? Any volunteers? Too long? Someone read the poster, Google it.
I'll read it to you.
Oh, okay.
The 8th principle, we covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions.
Thank you, Carla. We need to take actions, and the first part of taking an action as an organization is putting out a notice to the world saying, this is where we stand on this issue. And that's just the first step, right? But it's also a reminder to ourselves. You know, many of you know I work a lot in environmental and other projects, but they're all linked, and you got to take that first step. You got to say, this is where we stand. And I hope we can all imagine together building that beloved community. Taking actions to dismantle racism is the first step towards that. And yeah, that's all I got today. Sorry. Yeah, once again, just try to imagine that beautiful world where that banner is unnecessary, and that's when it can come down.
Our hour has quickly come to a close, and we need more time for these conversations than what we have allotted today.